Dr. Michaels, it's an honor to be sitting here with you today. A very, very interesting chain of events has caused this interview to come to fruition in the first place, all surrounding a technology that you've developed that many call Medbed technology, because that's really what it emulates in its essence of how it works and what I would call the miracles that it's allowed to come to fruition on many people all around the world. It's a technology that I've seen firsthand dissolve a 12.5-inch cystic fibroid in my aunt's uterus, a technology that has caused TLS to actually encourage me to come and help raise awareness to this incredible healing modality that you've created.
The very reason we're all here living today is for the sole purpose of creation. We don't walk at it alone. It's a magnificent blend of individualistic people, all creating together. And if all of us have the ability to create here on planet Earth, there must be a manual to follow that will help guide our journey to the most rewarding life we could ever desire. Your life begins the moment you fully discover who you are and why you're here. Welcome out, everyone, to another episode of Cosmic Sugar, where our tagline is Become a Better You. And this is all health-related topics. Of course, Decode Your Reality is the brother or sister of this Cosmic Sugar brand. And today, about health and wellness, I've already done a podcast with the great Mel over in Florida. And what I love about Mel is he is a straight up humanitarian. So you guys are really in for a really gem-packed podcast here with some great information. If you're looking to improve your health, if you're somebody who is suffering from some kind of health related issues, et cetera, this podcast will be for you. Mel, welcome out to Cosmic Sugar. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you joining in on this to give us the goods on what's going on in your part of the world. So,
thank you, Logan. It's my pleasure and honor to be here. To be quite honest, I mean, I'm tickled pink on the fact that we're able to do this and reach such wide audiences, and you know, we're having such great success early on. Like I told you off camera. Before we hit the record button, we spend a whopping $5 on advertising so far. So really, technically speaking, we're still not advertising. And we got people coming in from all over because the price points, the business plan is absolutely geared for the small people, for the guys and gal who don't really have a lot of money. The packages are basically, we still have the $50 an hour, 2-hour minimum, just like all the other centers. But we put that there. When you look at that for what it is, and you know that you really should do at least minimum 4 hours, right, session, and you look at that, say, well, a 4-hour session is going to set me back a total of, $200, right? Well, actually, yeah, 50, 100, 200 bucks for 4 hours. And you look at the package of, let's say, bronze, which is $517 for a total of 40 hours in an entire month. You don't have to be a mathematician to realize that that's the package you should pick.
Yeah. Well,
it's like a math equation to see if you pass math out there, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, let's dive into
the system to really heal. So we're giving people a long-term spectrum to stay in the system so that they get what? Results. Because results is going to get them to give me what? Testimonials, which will turn let the word of mouth really take place, if that makes any sense.
Beautiful concept. So let's digress a little bit, because people are like, packages, okay, great. What are you offering, et cetera. So let's kind of bring it all the way back to the origination of this center. You're located in Cape Canaveral, Florida. So really you have easy access if you're somebody who's not in Cape Canaveral, Florida. And what would the benefit be to travel to Cape Canaveral, Florida to get a package, bronze? You're mentioning all these packages. So people are like, okay, well, what is it? Like, what is your technology? So let's start there. Your business name is called stayingalive.com. And the way to spell that, and I'll leave that in the description of the link of the video, Aliive has 2 I's in it. So stayingalive.com is the website that you can visit. And if you want to contact them, it's info@stayingalive.com. But Mel, besides you being in XRP and the whole crypto world and really having a big foundational piece in that area, you're transitioning this into the health and wellness industry. And I know we got your story about how you got started in that, and we can touch on that, but let's talk about these packages and what they actually will give you, which is obviously leading towards improving your health. What are you servicing there in Cape Canaveral, Florida with stayingalive.com? What's your technology?
Well, the technology is a scalar wave technology. It's basically remnants of, the Nikolai Tesla and Raymond Royal Rife, et cetera. John Searle, free energy technology is coming right behind that, et cetera. But the reality is they've suppressed this technology because it works. But again, these are not medical devices. These devices do nothing for the human body. They will not heal you. They just provide an energy field, a frequency that the body actually recognizes. And when the body does recognize this particular frequency, what it does, it goes into operation of being its own doctor. So the best doctor in the world lives inside of you, folks. And so what happens is the body goes into immediate repair mode because you're producing what? Billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of the most pristine, the most healthy cells known to mankind. And when that happens, it starts to produce also healthy stem cells in the billions and billions and billions. And when that happens, the body has only one choice, not 2 or 3, 1. And that choice is to go into repair mode. The body repairs itself. Okay. And that's what is the miraculous part. I have a lady there right now. Her name is Drew. She's a very well-to-do lady, been in business, extremely successful. She's hip on hip, she's bone on bone with her hip, and she's got to go in for surgery. And she came in, I got to be honest. Okay. I'm sorry to tell this a story for what it is, Drew, but I'm sure that you'll appreciate it and accept it for what it is. But Drew came in, she was a little grumpy because she's in pain, and she was literally a little bit feisty, if you know what I mean, right? Of course. And she asked me, she said, "Where is the bathroom?" She had just purchased a bronze package, 40 hours, and she's been there every single day. She's defiant. She's going to be one of our most amazing success stories, I think, that comes out of Cape Canaveral, stayingalive.com. She said to me, "Where's the bathroom?" And I said, "Well, you have to walk down the hallway past the elevators, and it's about, it's probably a 35, 40-foot walk. And then you have to make a left, and you have to go another 70 or 80 feet. So you're looking at about 120 feet or so of walking one way and walking back." She was almost ready to literally cancel her package. I know I'm pretty good at reading body language. Yeah. I said, "Uh-oh, we got a problem here, right?" And not to quote, Houston, we got a problem with the space shuttle right there behind me. Okay. But I sensed immediately that we're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle in convincing her why this is so important. But what she did is she decided not to go to the bathroom, and she stayed for a few hours. I think she stayed for like 3-4 hours. She held it, in other words. Okay. And so the first day, she really didn't get much of a result. The second day, she started feeling just a little better, like no pain. The pain was almost gone because the body was starting to repair itself. So now she's on session number 6, session number 7. One day she came in and she walked all the way, I think on her 3rd session, if I'm not mistaken, or her 4th session, she walked all the way to the bathroom by herself. Wow. And she walked back, and she walks with 2 canes. Well, let me tell you something. Yesterday she came in. My wife said, "Drew came in today. She's walking with 1 cane." Awesome. Instead of 2. She doesn't walk with 2 canes for all the time. So, this is going to be a success story. I think that it'll be like no other, because she understands that it's, time and consistency. You got to put some time in. You're not going to go to the gym and all of a sudden, be Arnold Schwarzenegger with muscles. That's not going to happen. Same thing here. You got to put the time. So I had to design the business plan and the packages in such a way where I'm sending a direct message to the consumer, say, "Listen, Mel Carmine and Amber, his wife, want you to heal. We want you to buy the packages. We want you to heal. We made it, look, if you break it down, if you take all of our packages and add up all the hours and add up all the dollar amounts and do an average, we're looking at about $11.62 per hour.
That's really that's really inexpensive for most people on a budget. Yeah, that's great.
We're at least across the board 50, 60, 70% cheaper than all the other centers. Hence the reason why it's causing a lot of people that live in other states to put up their house. They're putting up their house. I already booked people for September, October, and November. Okay. And some people are talking about coming in December because they realize the place is going to get busy. But they're coming in from out of state. They're renting their homes on Airbnb in their state. They're driving to Florida. They're renting an Airbnb in Florida. They have their car. They don't have to rent the car. They still got to eat, no matter whether they're in Texas or in Arizona or in Michigan. They still got to eat, whether they're here or there, right? So that food cost is still the same. So basically, they're coming down and buying packages, and they're passing up 30, 40, 50, 60 centers to come and see us. Because the business plan, I believe, is right.
That's beautiful. So let's talk a little bit more about this technology. So you have a technology that's based on these great, scientists, the Rife machine, and they're based on frequency healing. This is really what it sounds like your center is going to be based around. So let's talk about the options that you would have as a consumer coming in to heal your health. So what are the things that you get with your package? And you say they're hour-long sessions. We're going to talk about kind of like what that looks like when you come in to your center in Florida from start to finish. But let's talk about this technology. You mentioned Scalar Wave technology. Is there a little bit more you can talk about on the Scalar Wave technology? You're saying that it heals the body by allowing your body to heal itself. So basically, when you go inside of whatever it is that you offer here, what does it look like? I mean, I know you talked about you have a plasma Medbed coming, so we can kind of talk about that. But right now, if somebody were to get a package, what would they be using for technology? What does that look like on an hourly basis?
Basically, they're coming into a room with 24 monitors, and they're going to feel an energy field. People who are sensitive will feel it almost immediately. I feel it right away. I could be outside in the hallway and I feel it. I could be in my office inside the place, and I feel it. It definitely permeates. But one thing I got to tell you, for some crazy reason, see, this building here that was built in 1967, it was built specifically for NASA. Okay. And this building here is built, I think, to withstand some serious weather catastrophes, because the way it's actually built, because we actually tried to install curtains over the, as you can see behind me, there's shades. Okay. Over those shades, we tried to install curtains, and we were unsuccessful after drilling at least a dozen times in a dozen different spots. And these are handyman, these are construction people that have the proper equipment to come in with the proper drill bits.
This is concrete, then you're trying to drill in the concrete?
Yeah, we cannot penetrate the wall, dude.
Really?
They're saying the entire wall, it looks like there's some kind of metal that we cannot explain what it is, because we're not going to rip up the sheetrock to find out what's behind it, right? That would be ludicrous. But we know that we were unsuccessful in installing the curtains. Because we were unsuccessful installing the curtains, I could tell you that because the ceiling is made up of industrial metal and you got 3 metal poles in the middle, I don't know, because I'm not a scientist. I'm a pizza guy. What the hell do I know about science? Nothing. Just like I know nothing about financial services. I know nothing. The only thing I know is that the energy in this particular room, and I've been in 48 unit systems, okay, in this particular room, I can tell you emphatically, is got to be much stronger than the 48 unit system. Specifically, I attribute it to the metal, but I don't have a way of proving that except what I'm personally feeling, and when I'm comparing it to what I was feeling when I was in a 48 unit system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay?
Totally.
I think metal does conduct energy. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm sure that if I talk to somebody who knows a lot about Scalar Wave, and we're probably about to do that, because I believe that Dr. Sandra might be down this neck of the woods sometime in September. We don't know that for sure yet. but we're trying to figure out exactly what she's making her rounds, Miami, Naples. And I said, hey, while you're here, why don't you just drive across or have someone drive you across, whatever, and we'll set up an event. So we're waiting for an answer on that. So she would be definitely qualified to answer the question, hey, does the metal in this room and the metal that's behind that wall that we can't see and we weren't able to install curtains, does that have anything to do with the fact that the energy in here feels much stronger than a 48 unit system? She would be very qualified to be able to answer that question. Does that make sense?
You know, I totally, and I would even venture to say, from my opinion, that you could have a group of people that do remote viewing in that room, because from my research on remote viewing, that's what you need. You need a field that's blocked off from everything else, you know, so that would be something that you might even consider doing in the future days. That, you know, I know that has really nothing to do with what you're really all about, but that is something maybe that you could bolt on to what you're doing. So when you walk into this room, which is your mainstay right now, this is your main room of healing that you would actually come into to heal for an hour. Do you lay down on a bed? Do you stand up? And these monitors that you're talking about, do they look like a computer monitor? Do you turn them on? Are they, what does that look like?
Yeah, they have all these little squiggly lines. From what I understand, though, I believe that the installer told my wife that there's subliminal messages encoded into those screens. Now, I don't know what some of those messages say, but everything's based on positive. Everything's based on you coming into the room and having a positive intent and putting out the intent that you want to heal. And it's not just the energy, it's you working alongside with the energy.
Sure.
So that's why we try to, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I always tell my mom, try not to talk so much. So we're Italian. We like to talk a lot. Okay. So I said, try not to talk so much, because you're going into the room now and you need to use that energy that's inside your body to work alongside with the energy that's in the room. The energy inside your body is your fuel to help you heal the body. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. So yeah. So now getting back to the energy in this room being stronger than anything else that I've seen before, I could tell you that Drew said, because I told this specific story to Drew a couple of days ago, and she said, Mel, don't you know you're in a vortex? And I had no idea what the hell she was talking about. She said, do you know about the energy levels in Sedona, Arizona? I said, yes, I do. Says, well, there's energy levels in Cape Canaveral, this specific area, are much stronger than the ones in Sedona, Arizona.
Interesting.
Pretty wild. Okay?
Interesting.
Now, this is she was 85 years young, and she's, traveled the world, very successful, knows a few things about a few things. Okay. She's highly intellectual. Her and I hit it off right away, because I'm a pretty sharp guy, and she caught on to that. Her and I had a 2-hour conversation that should have been a podcast, and we probably will do
if only.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah. Awesome. So when you come into this room, it's just you in the room. The room sounds like it's like a controlled room, so to speak, where there's really no energy that's penetrating it. So it's like a neutral room, right? And the neutrality of the room allows the scalar waves, which are basically a code, to integrate into the body. And then your body allows yourself to do the healing through obviously positive intentions, which that's obviously something that you'd want to have coming into this room. And it's just an hour long, Mel. That's all you do. You come in there for an hour and you put on headphones.
No, I don't recommend anybody. Well, first of all, we don't do hour sessions. We do minimum 2 hours. And they're pricey. Even at my place, they're pricey. At $100 for 2 hours. And the average person, that business plan that most of the centers are running with, that is a business plan that's geared towards the 1%. I'm not here for the 1%. I am here for the 99%. By being here for the 99%, I'm really here for the 100%, because if the little guys and gals can afford it, the big guys and gals can afford it too. Correct? So I'm here for everybody across the board. But I'll tell you what, the story goes that when Drew came in and she told me about her hip, being bone on bone and all that stuff, I'm not a doctor, but I do know that Dr. Sandra, for example, had told me a story on one of my many podcasts with her. I think we did 3 or 4. And she said that some guy if I remember the story correctly, that some guy purchased these machines to put none other than in his car wash, because they found out for some reason that the scalar wave energy allows them to take, the wax on, wax off, to take the wax off, and is 80% less laborious by having the machines in the room. You're taking the wax off the car. True story. Well, this guy also was bone on his knees. Okay. And he was scheduled for what? Surgery. Okay. But because he was drinking the water that was being charged by these machines, changing the molecular structure of the water, okay, structured water, and drinking the water that was starting to allow the body to heal the body. Okay. And he was in the, place 12 hours a day doing his car stuff, car cleaning, whatever. Within weeks, he started to feel better. And within like 2-3 weeks, he literally had canceled his surgery because there was no really any, excruciating pain to speak of.
Right.
The pain was literally subsided by more than 90%. So what happened was the body allowed itself to regrow the cartilage that was missing, so that it's no longer a bone-on-bone situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real story, okay? So I told Drew that story because it's similar to her story. Hip, bone-on-bone, knee, bone-on-bone, bone-on-bone, bone-on-bone is the same story, except a different part of the body, right?
Right.
So that was intriguing to her to really want to continue. And she started to, obviously, she didn't know that I was a, podcaster, influencer, whatever. She started to watch a lot of my podcast, et cetera, et cetera. And I think she's like every day she goes home and watches at least 2 of my old videos. So she's trying to catch up on what I'm all about. Yep. So she was not coming in as a fan. She was coming in as a client. She's now a fan and a client.
Beautiful. Nothing better than, nothing better than getting a testimonial from somebody who knows their things about health and wellness, knows a thing or two about life, and then has a personal experience with their healing, which is, pain management. And that's definitely something that can make somebody grumpy, as you mentioned earlier. And I know a thing or two about that kind of stuff. So I know you want to share your screen, and I want to get into that because I think people like to think in pictures, and I want to be able to do that for the audience listening, for this technology that you have, that you're rolling out for people. But let's move into the other one, which is the plasma Medbed, which was invented by, invented by Dan Winters. And you say you have that coming there. What is that going to do? And how is that going to be incorporated into the package that you have along with the scalar wave technology?
Yeah, well, my friend Marie, who has Boundless Love and Light Healing Center in over in Hillsborough, has a machine. And I had a dear friend of mine, Jerry Kruger, who I've known for 30 years, 3 decades, go and see her because he had prostate, that thing that starts with a C. His PSA was reading 41. Even though I told him to stay for a month, he didn't listen. Like most people don't listen to the pizza guy. And sometimes when you don't listen to the pizza guy, you get in trouble, So what happened was he went there for a total of 8 days or 9 days, I believe. And his prostate was reading, his PSA was reading 41. And by the time he left and he came back to Florida and did a test, even though it didn't go away, it was 13.1, a huge difference.
Oh, you'd say it was pretty high then. His prostate reading was really high.
Yes. So it went down from 41 to 13.1. Now, had he stayed there for a month, what do you think would have happened?
Well, yeah, obviously, why don't even, I'm ignorant in the prostate, so I don't know what the normal values would be. Do you know?
If the energy was allowing the body to heal itself, again, This is noble gas, plasma gas, and scalar all in one. And when you combine it with this technology that we have here with Dr. Sandra, it's magical what people are experiencing. Now, if he stayed there for 8-9 days and his prostate PSA went down from 41 to 13.1, if he would have stayed there another 22 days or 21 days, I'm not, even though I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and I don't tend to know anything about anything, but I'd be willing to bet quite a lot that it would probably, the number would be more like in the single digits, like 2 or 3, or maybe 0. Can anybody say 0 out there?
I don't know, but I like what the
You know,
pizza guys got to say, man. I'm really encouraged by your words.
you
I think
know,
people are, yeah, I mean, I believe in the fantasies, man. I believe in the miracles. I know they happen. It's just, obviously belief has to come in there. So your body's agreeable. I believe in, traumatic experiences that get programmed into the body from an early age, even perhaps from a karmic cycle, if we're someone who believes in past lives, being, transitioned down into the body as a baby, whatever happens in the womb from the mother and whatever experiences the mother goes through, those end up getting downloaded through the placenta into the umbilical cord. And so these are obviously areas that they get enlarged. I studied a book. I don't know if you know who Valerie Hunt is. She's she was a scientist, and she had this big, I can't remember the name of the book, but it was this big, thick green book. And it was all on, a lot of it was on scalar waves. And I read that book twice. You would think I'd know the name of it. I'll try to get the name and leave it in the description of the
Sure.
video here. But it was on scalar waves, and I was fascinated by it because it was unlike anything else healing wise on what it did. And this led me on my chase of the med beds and all this this technology that's coming out and that we're moving into. And is this part of the golden age that so many people are hoping for to be ushered into, where we will get the body and as you mentioned, I think on our last podcast, hey, I want to be 300, 400, 500, 600 years old. Is this something that is coming down the pike for all of us? Well, I guess time will tell, but I love the promise of what you're doing here. So we have the scalar wave technology of these screens and these monitors that displace all this energy coming into this room. Then we have your plasma medbed. Is there anything else that you're going to offer for people that come to your center?
Not as of yet. I mean, my vision for the future is because I do have, Brevard County was promised to us. So Brevard County is our territory. And so I have to make good on my promise to open up, a few places over the next few years so that we can accommodate the entire county. Not that we could, even with 4 or 5 places, because once the word is out in the next 2 years, 3 years, and this becomes like the 100th monkey syndrome, and everybody understands what this is and what the body's really capable of doing, man, you build a better mousetrap, the world will be the path to your door. There's no question about it.
Yep.
Totally
agree.
Yeah. So with that said, I can tell you that, the amount of activity and people calling and people asking questions really foretells the future of where, the stayingalive.com brand is going as a whole. I believe that this is potentially going to be one of the most successful centers out there, simply because of a different business plan, a different way of doing it. See, I didn't jump in right away because I wanted to see how the dust was going to settle with all the other centers. I love Jason Shirka. Don't get me wrong; he's a friend of mine. But the $50 an hour, and I'm not here to ruffle any feathers, but I'm not here to make friends either. Sure. I don't have any hairs on my tongue, and I tell it exactly the way I feel it. If that hurts someone's feelings, deal with it. Okay, that's all I can say. But I can tell you that the $50, $60 an hour, 2-hour minimum business plan is not where it's at. That business model, and as from my business acumen and experience, I can tell you it is wrong. Will eventually some of the centers move towards what we're doing. I know that there's a few centers out there already that want us to consult with them. I can tell you that a lot of them are not set up for this because they have to have, a bigger place. You can't do what I do with a location that has only room for 7 or 10 chairs. Okay. You got to be built for scalability. You got to be built to be able to expand. I got 36 chairs right now, and I can expand within that same square footage of 2,304 square feet. I can easily expand to 70 chairs.
Oh, so let's talk about these chairs. So 36 chairs right now. What do you mean by chairs? You said you have one room with the scalar wave technology. What is one chair you have times 36? What would one chair get you? What does that mean?
Well, the chair is where people sit in, where they're right in the middle of the technology. It's really a zero gravity chair that you buy that you put on your front porch. Okay. Yeah.
And so you're going to
That's
have
what it
this
is.
scalar. So let me just correct me if I'm wrong. So in this room with 36 chairs, so you can imagine that as an audience, 36 chairs in a big room collectively, everybody sitting there in a zero gravity chair. You put your legs up if wherever you want to feel comfortable. And then you have this scalar wave technology kind of showering down on everybody. Is that what the concept
Yeah,
is?
it permeates through the atmosphere and it goes right through your body. The actual scalar wave itself travels at 1.5 times the speed of light.
Right.
It's faster than the speed of light, and it's sort of works sort of like the infinity sign, the number 8. And your body really works on when your body's in full optimal health. Your body's operating on 90 millivolts. 70 to 90 millivolts is optimal health.
Yep.
When you get down to the 30, 25, 20 millivolts, that's when your body is inviting in the disease to come in and set in and take you out.
Yep.
Okay. So just because somebody is an inventor and invents a specific technology, that does not necessarily mean that the inventor or inventors really understand their own technology. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Are you going to have a machine that will measure people's voltage of their body? Because I'm a huge fan of healing in the body. Because like I studied a lot of Dr. Jerry Tennant. I don't know if you know who he is. He's out of Texas, but he has several books. One of them is called Healing is Voltage. Healing is Voltage. I think that was what, and it was all about what you just described. When the voltage in the body is low, you're going to have the recipe to invite organisms that are going to take you down a lot faster. And then when the voltage is higher, the circuitry works. It's like a battery. When the battery's strong, it starts your car. When you go turn the key and it goes click, 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 the battery is low voltage and it's not going to start the car. So these are the same kind of concepts. Are you going to have a tool that will measure people when they walk in to figure out what their voltage is in their body so they can have a mindset of that? Is that something in the future?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Boundless Love and Light Wellness Center in Hillsborough, New Jersey has exactly that device, and that is in the works.
Beautiful.
We don't have it yet, but it will literally measure the aura of your energy, and it will show you all the breakpoints of how you are when you come in and how you are when you get out. And they did that specifically with my friend Jerry Kruger, and it showed all the breakpoints, which means his energy was not good going in, but when he went out, it showed a more complete aura of his energy level. And so it's right in there with science and technology and medicine, et cetera. Even though this is not medicine, there is a device. It's about $5,000. It's not cheap, and you got to go to seminars and webinars and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not going to do. But I'm sure potentially my employees and my managers will do that, and they will learn how to use the device. I really don't want to be there as much as I have to be there. The other thing that we're doing which is really ingenious, is we have created a QR code system where if you buy, for example, a 40-hour package or a 60-hour package or 90 or 120-hour package, you can go in and scan your QR code. It will immediately know that you're Logan, that you purchased a 90-hour package. It knows that this is your first day there. You go in, for example, for a 5-hour session, you leave, you scan out. As soon as you leave, you don't even walk through the doors, you scan out. Immediately, within seconds, you'll get an email saying, thank you for patronizing stayinglive.com. And you'll also get a text message saying, you're in our system, you scanned in at 5 o'clock and you left at 10 o'clock, for example. Right? Okay, cool. You use 5 hours of your time. You now have X amount of time left over for your next visit.
So so I just want to clarify this, and I'm sure the audience as well. So this room that you have with 36 chairs, that's the room you go in with the scalar. It's not a room just all by yourself, right? This is a room.
No. It's a big room. We might be able to show some pictures.
You're going to show some pictures. Yeah. So let's move. Let's shift into, if you don't mind, right? People are not, let's get the
not at all.
Let's have you share your screen, because I know the audience is like, okay, what is this thing going to look like? So let's take it.
So let's do first thing first. Let's do some testimonials. Human beings are known to potentially stretch things and maybe embellish stuff and maybe lie a little bit. You know what I mean? But you cannot argue with dogs. Could you argue with a dog's testimonial?
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go to this testimonial here for 1 second on Facebook, which, well, let me hold on.
Absolutely
Jason Shurka.
thriving. Check this out.
Let me see if I can
This
actually.
dog literally went from incurable to absolutely thriving. Check this out.
So while we're waiting, folks, I would imagine in what you're seeing here, the two pictures, that's what the scalar wave technology looks like to your left of the space shuttle there.
Look at that dog with the hips. Okay, see the problem?
Where do, I don't, hang on, Mel. I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I'm still
What's
seeing
that?
I'm not seeing the photo of any animals here.
Oh, okay. You're not seeing anything on your end?
I'm seeing your screen, but I just see on the left is your all your
Okay, hold
message.
on 1 second. Let's exit out of this then. Let's start over here. Let's refresh. Hold on. Let's refresh. Here we go.
Yep. Hang tight, folks.
To absolutely thriving. Check this out.
No, I still don't see it though. I still just have your screen here. Maybe you want to stop sharing and share again. I'm not sure how you want to do it, but
Yeah, let me see how.
This dog.
Okay, let's see how we can do this. I apologize to the audience. I'm a pizza guy. I'm not a technology guy.
that's all good.
So let's stop sharing and let's do it again. Let's try it. Maybe the third time is a charm. Okay, here we go. Let's try it one more time. And tell me if you see that.
I still see the
You
same
see-
screen. I have two slides are showing the same thing with your space shuttle with your scalar wave, the mini screens there. That's all I see.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I thought you would be able to see this. I'm not sure.
You're probably going to have to actually select what screen you want to share. If you go down to the share screen, it should give you the option to share whatever it is you're looking to share. So if it's with the animals, you're probably gonna have to manually select that.
Okay, that's crazy.
This dog.
I mean, we hear I hear the audio a little bit. This dog.
This dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy. All right. I should have practiced, I guess, before we got on, but I don't know why you're seeing my screen. Maybe I have to stop sharing my green screen for you to see the thing. Is that possible?
I'm not sure, because remember we did it before we came on and you were able to show
And it was working fine, right?
Yeah. Well, click on just click on your, like something above there on your screen that.
Okay, let's see.
Change it up.
Background color. That's a shame because this needs to be in the video. It's very powerful.
Sure.
Let me pause the video for 1 second and then let's see if Amber can figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing here with Mel and I behind Mel, again, those are the part of the 24 screens that he has in a room. There's 24 of those, right, Mel? Those screens behind you?
Yeah.
Okay. So those screens right there behind you to the left of his chair, those are part of the visuals that produce scalar waves. And this will be part of this big giant room of 36 chairs. So again, the idea or the visual that I want to give you, because I've seen the photographs, is there's this big square box and there's these chairs all lined up, 36 of them, and they're all zero gravity chairs. So you can actually put your feet up and lay down, and then you have all these screens around the room, and that produces the scalar waves, and then
When I
just
did
lay
the
back and
share, it
relax.
doesn't work, so I don't know what happened, but I did it properly here. Okay. Right here, this one, right here, right there.
We're gonna get a little testimonial. Now, hold on a sec. Now, Mel, who's this guy? So people know who this guy is.
This is Jason Shurka. Hold on 1 second. I have to
Literally
actually.
went from.
Can you see?
But now again, Mel, who is Jason Shurka? Give us a real quick, brief interview of what this guy's all about. Who is he? What is he all about?
Okay, Jason Shurka was the guy that actually interviewed Dr. Sandra Michael Rose. He was sent by TLS, the Light System Network, something like that. But this is basically him explaining the story about a couple of dogs staying in the system overnight for a couple of nights. And the results are, dogs don't lie.
Right now, so
here we-
now, just so people can be aware, before you hit the play button, you're talking about getting the Scalar Wave technology that you offer. That's what you're saying, being put into a room with Scalar Wave technology. Is that correct?
Yeah, the dogs stay in an overnight scalar technology with the monitors, just like the ones I
Just
have
like the ones
me.
behind you. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool.
Right. And there's four towers. There's one in each corner with
Okay.
6 monitors, right? So
Right.
let's watch and see what happened to the dogs here.
This dog went from absolutely incurable to completely thriving. Check this out.
So obviously was it paralyzed? Oh, no control of his
Bad hips, bad, can't walk.
Okay.
That's the same dog 3 days later.
What you just saw is literally why I wake up every morning. It's why I do what I do. And it's actually what got me into this whole idea of unified healing and the energy enhancement system technology in the first place. Because about 14 months ago, when I first learned about this technology, I was skeptical. What happened was my aunt had a 12.5 centimeter cystic fibroid in her uterus, 4 hours sitting in this technology, and she was back to herself. And even then I was in disbelief. I said, maybe it's placebo, maybe it's the power of thought. I need more. And God works in very unique and extraordinary ways, because in that very moment, I got a call that my sister's little toy poodle was diagnosed with a little tumor in his neck of 4 centimeters, not that small, for a dog 6 to 8 pounds. And they sent him to that technology as well. And 3 nights later, sleeping in that technology, about 8 to 10 hours a night, it was gone. It was that really got me to open my eyes and got me curious into what this technology is. Because you could say placebo all you want when it comes to human beings. You cannot say that when it comes to animals.
Okay, now let's go and stop sharing and let's see if we can share something else. Okay. Can you see that?
Yep, now I can.
You see a room with flowers and monitors?
Yep. So this is the room. This is the room right here that has your 36 chairs in it, and this is the room you will go in for one of your sessions.
This
correct?
is the room. Let me go ahead and put the volume up on this.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me. All right, here we go. Let's try this one here. Let's see if you can hear this one.
Hey guys, we're here with David. David and his beautiful girlfriend drove across from Orlando yesterday to come stay an overnight here at stayingalive.com. You'll see the sign right there. And both of them had incredible dreams that is so vivid. I'm going to let him explain exactly what his experience was. It was so real, right? Explain to us what happened.
Well, listen, I didn't know what to expect when I came here. My girlfriend talked me into coming down and trying this great energy place. And really what was great about it was that you feel high energy, real high energy, but you feel relaxed, like a great relaxation. Now, I spent the night here, and as I woke up a few times, but it was really deep sleep. But one of the things that I had vivid dreams of my life, my past, and then when I was awake, my mind was running me through my whole life. And it was so vivid. It was just such an amazing, I don't know, I can't even explain it. But what the thing that I'll leave you with is this. My body this morning feels so relaxed. It just feels no tension, no worry, no fear. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, you know, Mel, it's a calming that you don't feel all the time, because we've all got so much to do all the time.
Right.
There's no end to there's always something every day that you wake up. And in this, it gives you a calmness and a relaxation. But more than that, it's like my body feels totally energized and free of any kind of tension. And that's what I got out of it. I look forward to doing many sessions here. I think it's one of the things that you should think about doing. Come down and try this, because the health benefits are amazing. I haven't done enough of them yet to know everything of what's going on. But the way I feel this morning is just, I don't really have words for it. So I have to sit and think about it for a while to just really, like process what I went through. But on that note, it was just, thank you so much for the experience, and it's well worth the cost. This is one of the best, lowest cost places around that we looked into, so.
Yeah, the price points are definitely a big seller. Now your girlfriend, who you live with, I understand, had similar dream, just like you, sort of like going through her life.
Yeah.
And very vivid, like she was there, etc. So we're about to interview her next. What do you think of the price package points? The 40 hours for 1 month, so you could use 40 hours in a month for $517.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think about that?
I thought it was compared to other places we looked at. So this is a great price. And of course, you guys are wonderful too.
Thank you.
And they got a couple of crazy dogs. I call one of them, one reminds me of James Bond, so I called him James. The other one's kind of a wiry looking guy.
Yeah.
I called him Bobo. But they came and slept with me for a while this morning.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're
They're
awesome.
very loving. But I always think that pets, they really, if your pets, if you can't pet them and they don't want to get near you, that reflects on the owners.
Oh, absolutely.
So when I meet pets that are that loving and that great, I know the owners are too.
Yes.
Anyway, but I had those dreams last night too, by the way.
Yeah.
I went through from my childhood sweetheart all the way through to my life now. And it was just, I can't explain it. It just kind of opens your mind up, this energy.
Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait to interview your girlfriend as well, Shadi.
Right.
I'm sure that.
Okay, let's go with his girlfriend. Can you see? You
Awesome.
still see the screen, right?
Yeah. Good. Keep them coming. This is good stuff. I like to see some real testimonials.
Hey folks, we got Shari here. Shari happens to be David's girlfriend. They drove across from Orlando yesterday. They had an incredible experience. They stayed here at stayingalive.com, alive with 2 eyes. And they had an incredible experience, sort of like an out-of-body experience, I think. I don't know if they're explaining exactly what they've experienced. Hopefully they can shed some light on exactly what happens. This has happened once before, Shari, in one of my friends' actual place over in Georgia, where the guy literally came out of body.
Yeah.
And the lady said, "Hey, how do you feel?" He goes, "Because I just came out of body." And the lady just brushed it off like, yeah. No, you don't understand. I came out of body. I was looking at my body with the 2 people I'm here with. I could see the chairs. I could see. So is that what you experienced? Maybe possible?
Well, to get relaxed, I just started thinking about a moment in my life. And then I don't know if I was asleep during this, but it was vivid when I really came to and woke up. I had revisited my life, every job I worked, every place I lived from the time I was 18 to current, and I'm 53. So it was kind of phenomenal. I went into old apartments that I used to live in, visited my grandmother's house. It just was very cleansing and almost like living a movie reel of my life. So I felt very peaceful when I woke up, and it brought back people and memories that I haven't thought about for decades. So when I woke up, I just felt very grateful and actually happy to be at the place I am now at 53. But it was very vivid, very detailed, almost technicolor. And I mean, I sometimes when you wake up from a dream, you don't exactly remember everything. I remember it all. I can write down names of people that I worked with in college, so I've never had that experience to this day at 53. Not technicolor, not that long, not that detailed, not that vivid. So
We'll cut it off there just to give you an idea. They both went through their entire life as if it was a movie, and they're both in the same day, and they both had the same experience. That alone is mind shattering. You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is a commercial that we did for my mom.
Your mom has an extraordinary story, right, Mel?
Oh yeah. That was day one.
Mm.
Day 5. 5 weeks later. 5 months later.
Oh, that's beautiful. Amazing. Well, I got chills, man. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I mean, we got some good people on staff. I mean, Sharon does all of our editing. Sharon and her daughter, Sarah, absolutely amazing, amazing folks. I can't say enough. I mean, look, we are beyond blessed to have the kind of people that surround us right now, because we cannot, this requires a team. We're talking about literally going completely and totally against the grain. We're talking about becoming the salmon that swims upstream all the time. And we're literally building a machine to take out their machine, which has wronged us in so many ways. Look, taking 29 medications and walking around like a zombie in a zombie-like state and getting dementia, that is not where I want to go. That is not where you want to go. That is not where anybody wants to go. But yet, you know, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people end up exactly what I just described. So how do we change it? The medical industry was trained in a way where they don't even know about this stuff. They don't realize that frequency will become the medicine of the future.
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Well, frequency doesn't work, Mel. Really? Frequency? How's your car radio work? How does your Wi-Fi work? How does your cell phone work?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. This is beautiful. Well, I can tell my audience this, and you know, you've been so generous to offer your center for me to come down and to be a part of it. And you know, I'm going to tell my audience, I am definitely going to come down to your location, and my goal is to spend a month there. Because I have my own health challenges. Hitting 50 has been a very big turning point for me. Been healthy all my whole entire life, but that doesn't relieve you of the genetic burdens. You know, there are genetic dispositions that you're prone to with your body when you get tested. I've had, parasites invade the body, bacteria, and, nobody can be immune to this stuff. So how do we actually get ourselves healed? We get in tune with nature. We get in tune with frequency and waves and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty jazzed, man, about coming down and working with you guys. And I will promote the hell out of your center. So you're officially open, right? I mean, you're already open now.
We're open. We are getting ready to potentially receive Dr. Sandra. I'm hoping like towards the middle of September, third week of September. I understand she's going to be making her rounds here in South Florida. I don't think she's going to come to Florida and not come to my center. I think she will.
Now, do you have a video? Do you have a short video on Dr. Sandra you can show people so they know like who's Dr. Sandra?
I do, but I'd have to pull it up, and with all the technical issues we've had, maybe we could save this for part 2 interview as we get more success stories. Maybe we could do a dry run without hitting the record button, make sure I can press all the right buttons. And listen, I think I pressed all the right buttons, to be quite honest with you.
It's okay.
Sometimes,
I'll end up cutting out the frivolous parts that didn't pertain.
But I was able to interview Dr. Sandra, and like I was saying earlier, just because an inventor who's brilliant enough to invent a brilliant technology, that necessarily does not mean that they understand their technology to the fullest extent. Sure. I said, I think I was the one that coined the phrase that disease is relentless, and you got to be equally as relentless, if not more so relentless, in the disease itself in order to defeat it. That's why I said to my mom, who's like, I always compare her to the junkyard car that's been sitting in the junkyard for 10 years. You can't just go pick up a car that's been sitting in the junkyard and bring it home and in 20 minutes, you're going to have a new car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just not going to work. You have
restoration takes time.
Yeah. Restoration takes time. Absolutely. Well said. So with that said, you have to really go down to bare metal. You have to, do all the proper cleansing and the proper cleaning and the proper restoring of the metal. And then you got to put the anti-rust on. You got to put all the bearings and bulbs and all the grease and all the bullshit, right? To rebuild the car up as if it was new, right?
Yep.
And so I said to my mom, the only way this is going to work, she had done 2 8-hour sessions that didn't work. We know that. And I always tell the story. So I said, you got to go in for months. I said to her, technically speaking, I says, you might have to go in for maybe, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, because you're pretty busted up.
Yep.
The doctors have not really helped you with all the medication. So I was right. So when we had the opportunity for her to go in for a couple of months, 2 months, not even in a 24 unit system, in a 16 unit system.
Yeah.
In Lehigh, Utah, with Maria Scavelli's joint. Okay. When we did that, immediately you saw results, because she was there, 24 hours a day. In the first 5 days, there was a noticeable difference. My mom is a cook by trade. You see her flip in the pan. She enjoys that. Okay.
I mean, you have such I'm really looking forward to helping you out as much as I can, because, my background is in health and wellness. I've been a gym rat. I've been working out over 30 years. Nutrition really is kind of my mainstay, although now I'm more of a decoder into the digital world and the mystical arts. But, Mel, I got to tell you, the opportunity that you have, because, there's so many bolt-ons that you can add to the center. I mean, people are like, well, Logan, a lot of people are like, what is this? This is molecular hydrogen. I'm breathing in actually molecular hydrogen, which is a combination of hydrogen gas and oxygen, which this is a combination called Brown's gas. So I'm literally sitting here breathing in healing into my body. So like, you have the ability, your center, you can bolt on so many different layers to really fast track this healing for people. And man, I'm really stoked about coming down, meeting you guys, because I love what you're doing. I know what you're all about, being that 9th birthday, being that humanitarian, and just, really sharing the space with you of what's possible in the healing of people. And I just really appreciate what you stand for as a human being, man. I really do. And I look forward to seeing you guys just blow this thing up. Yeah. Where you just have a waiting list to get in there. I guess that'd be.
I appreciate it. Well, there's not going to be a waiting list. I envision in 5 or 6 months, you're going to go to the website and says, we're not taking on any new customers. But the good thing about that is that we're probably on track to build center number 2, which is going to be the Taj Mahals of Taj Mahals of Taj Mahals. Okay.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it in the same area, or
the ultimate? And anybody wants to copy me out there, you can, as long as you don't do it in my backyard. Brevard County belongs to us, okay? So the reality is that I am going to build something that is so extravagant. I want to build something, if I could sort of paint the picture for you and the audience, and we'll leave it at this, and then we'll go into maybe part number 2, maybe a couple of weeks down the road. But I envision taking over a space that's going to be maybe 10, 15,000 square feet, where we have a pool. We're very close to the ocean, or basically on the ocean, where we could suck the water right out of the ocean, okay? Heat the water up to a certain temperature, right? So that people can go in the swimming pool, where there'll be a ramp for wheelchairs. You can go in right with your wheelchair, okay? And you'll be able to literally detox right on site. You'll be able to go into a sauna, a steam room, a cold plunge pool, the Scalar Wave, the plasma bed, whatever else you and people like yourself that are well versed in this stuff, because don't forget, I'm a pizza guy. I don't know anything.
I like the pizza guy.
I'm going to bring in you, and I'm going to bring in a bunch of people that understand health at a whole other level. And you say, hey, Mel, I think you might want to add this to your repertoire, and we'll do it. You know what I mean? Bottom line. But I want to expedite the healing process to the point where we got free energy technology coming with Nasara and Jasara. We got 6,000 patents that are going to be released with this. So imagine having free energy. We're sucking water out of the ocean, which we have an enormous amount of, right? We're heating up the water to a certain temperature where it's nice and hot, so the toxins come right out of your body. We'll have a machine that adds, hundreds of pounds of borax and baking soda to the mix. Okay, you have the most perfect. I won't sell you bath salts at that point. The little bag of salt bag, because we recommend that people go home within 24 hours of their first session, second session, third session, to immediately do a salt bath, so that the heavy metals start to come out of your body and start the detox process, so that when you come in, the energy goes through you that much quicker because there's less pollution to travel through, if that makes any sense.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, do you get all these great ideas, and the people that are going to flock to you that have what you don't have, when you combine all that together, it's just a really beautiful recipe for your growth and your success.
Now, let me give myself some plugs here before I forget.
Yeah.
The website is stayingalive.com, alive with 2 I's, stayingalive.com. Our Telegram group, which you want to join right away. And if you don't live in this area, but you know people that do, you should pick up the phone and say, hey, you should go join this, Telegram group called Miracles in Cape Canaveral on Telegram. Miracles.
We'll make sure we put all these links will be in the description of the
Yes.
video, folks. You can just easily click on those to join these groups.
And our email is info@stayingalive.com. The address is 166 Center Street. And you have to know that you have to have a special code to get in, because the door automatically locks. So when the door automatically locks, the only way you can get into the building is you'll have to read your email very, very carefully. In that email, you're going to get a code that allows you to come in the door, but you're not allowed to share that code with anybody. If you do, we're going to probably terminate your membership. Okay. So keep that to yourself. If you're a member and you bought a package or you bought a few hours, what have you, and you're coming in either after 5 o'clock or on weekends, because the door does automatically lock down, and you have to press the buttons nice and long and hard. Okay. You press the buttons, keep them down maybe 1.5 seconds before you get to the next one. When you get the little green light, that door opens and you're able to just pull the door and come in and go upstairs.
That's awesome. So you got a secure building. You got a really good foundation of how to get in and out.
Yes.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Well, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, just your address was fun. Was pretty funny. 166 Center Street. And so it's Cape Canaveral. That's the actual city.
Yeah, we're 2 blocks from the beach, by the way. If you are somewhat healthy and you can walk 2 blocks, you can come out of our place.
Go right to the beach.
If you don't want to buy a bag of salt from us, that's fine. But go right to the beach and go marinate for 2 or 3 hours.
You're set up, man. I mean, dude, I just like, this is such a big gift to you guys from the universe, because if this room or this building, if it really is built to these parameters that you discussed, and it was built for you guys. I mean, it was originally built for whatever, but now you guys have it. And it was just in the cards for you, and it's just so amazing, man.
It's funny you say that, because I was actually so gung-ho about opening up in Melbourne because it has my name. I wanted to take over the town. Maybe, I didn't tell this to Amber. She'll think I'm crazy, but I was going to probably run for mayor at some point. And say, that's my town. It's got my name, right? So that didn't happen. So I didn't choose Cape Canaveral. Cape Canaveral chose me.
Chose you. Yep. That's the way it was.
Somebody called me and it was just the right thing, and it felt right. I had no motivation whatsoever, because I had been up here. In the first day that I got here, I drove up to Cape Canaveral.
So briefly, how did it find you? Real briefly, like how did you land on this place? Like how did you initially get interested in Cape Canaveral, Florida?
Yeah, well, what happened was someone had called the office of Dr. Sandra, and they wanted to start a center in Cape Canaveral, which happens to be in my territory, which is Brevard County. And they said, no, you can't do that because Mel Carmine has that territory of Brevard County. So what happened was Mela, who is the owner's daughter, called me, the inventor's daughter. She called me, said, hey, listen, this is what happened. Some lady wanted to open up in Brevard County. We told her no, but she has a place that she wants you to look at. And I made contact with this person. We went to go see the place, and I didn't like it. It was in the same building. And it was just a small room, maybe 650 square feet at the most, and then had another room adjacent to it. I said, I don't know, maybe this room, I said, maybe a little too small. And I was sort of playing it in my head. And then we went into the other room, which is even smaller, maybe 300 square feet. I said, well, maybe this could be the office or the cafeteria, But ultimately, when I walked out that door, I said, no, it doesn't feel right. As I walk down the hallway and I go through the double doors and I look over to the right, there's 2 double doors past the elevator staring right at me. And I said, what's in there? And she said, I don't know. So because I'm curious George, I went and I opened the door, And voila, there's this huge place, 2,304 square feet. And I said, this is the place immediately.
You knew
I
it right away.
instinctively. Yeah, yeah, like that.
That's amazing.
And that's when,
So how do you, so you mentioned, just really curious, I know we're getting to the tail end of this. You mentioned that the county that you're in, that's yours. How do you get it to, how do you get a county to be yours? Is this something exclusively
well,
through-
you know, when you open up, yeah, when you open up an area, I originally wanted to do Florida. And so I had placed a call in. I wanted to do Florida, but I wanted to do Miami specifically because
this is with this is with the Scalar Wave technology, right? We're talking about that.
Yeah, same technology, same everything. But
Okay.
I wanted to be in Miami because that was my old stomping ground. I lived there for 22 years. I felt comfortable. I like Miami. I still love Miami, but for some reason, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in the cards for me to be in Miami. And I got to tell you, I don't even want to advertise this, but this place is amazing. And I don't want this place to get too crowded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get a hidden
crowds.
gem, man.
Yeah, it's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And so when I called Jason, he said, Mel, it's a no-go. Miami's spoken for. I said, are you sure? He said, oh, yeah, I'm sure. So I said, okay. So I started looking in Sarasota. I started looking on the West Coast. I started looking in Tampa, that area. And I started looking at some commercial real estates. And that area really wasn't drawing me either. So I found, my friend Frank Mancini said to me, I used to live in Merritt Island for 10 years with my brother, blah, blah, blah. And he said, when I move out of California, I'm going to go straight for Space Coast. And I said, Space Coast, where is that? Because that's where they launched and he proceeded to tell me that's where they launched the shuttle, et cetera. And so I started to do research. I said, okay, we can't do Miami. Maybe Space Coast is available. So sure enough, it was. So I called Jason Shurka again. Yeah, I called Jason Shurka. I started to communicate with Mela. I said, okay, we'll take this particular area. They agreed to it. And so we took this specific area. So now the idea is, because there's almost 700,000 people here, you can't service this, 700,000 people, even if everybody was to awaken tomorrow, okay, and say, wow, this technology is the deal. It's going to allow me to heal my body on my own, etc. Even if you had 10 places, we probably couldn't accommodate it. But that's why I'm either going to go big or I'm going to go much bigger, okay? And the next place has to be much bigger because I got to be able to accommodate as many people as I want or as many people as I can right here in Brevard County. There's 700,000 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to take some time.
So if let's say it takes a year or 2 years to educate the people to understand what this really truly is, and we bring them through the door and they start to get success, because this is like people telling people, when you have an overwhelming amount of success stories coming out right out of your own center, right in Cape Canaveral, and we are taking those specific videos and putting it on our Staying Alive page on Facebook. We're taking those testimonials and putting on stayingalive.com and driving all of the traffic there, and we're training all of our staff that in between you sitting people down and spraying the chair with a little bit of probiotic from my friend Heather, okay, spraying a little bit of probiotic on the chair so that it kills any potential germs or what have you, getting it ready for the next customer. You got nothing to do because people are scanning in with their QR code. So there's nothing for you to do. They're scanning in, they're booking their own session, they're paying for their own session, they're coming in with the QR code, they're scanning out the QR code, you sit them down. What is there for you to do except for, once the room is full, for example, maybe a little bit of marketing. So we're going to have all of our staff being trained by Sharon, and to be trained by Sarah, her daughter, and my wife and myself, and how to do marketing, how to do sales, how to do whatever, so that they're all on the same sheet of music. All right. What I envision for the future, we may graduate from the QR code and we may use the facial recognition, where we are not going to report back to Big Brother. It's strictly for internal use. When you come in, the facial recognition, which is $25,000, $30,000 software and hardware, okay, will recognize who you are, will recognize what package you bought. It will literally scan you out and scan you in without you having to ever scan a QR code, because the the human factor is still there. Somebody can forget to scan out their QR code, and that means that clock is still ticking. And then we got to go back and try to fix it if we can even do that. So in order to eliminate that potential problem, which I don't think we're going to have, because we're going to have signs everywhere. Make sure you scan in, make sure you scan out. We're going to, educate and make sure we drill that into the people so that they know what to do. Once they do it the first, couple of times, they realize they have to scan in, scan out, right? So they don't want their time to expire when they go home because they forgot to, scan out. But that's where we're going with this. But we're going to go big. We're going to go real big. And will we add some things like that stuff that you're breathing in there and things like that? Potentially, yes. I mean, we want the people to have the most incredible fighting chance at healing. So if we could add little things that will expedite the healing, I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's why not? Why not have these in every chair and you just sit down and you breathe in the hydrogen while you're getting the scalar waves? I mean, it's a no-brainer that you'd want to able to bolt that on.
Exactly. So this is a classic example of what you're doing right there, right now, to add to the mix. Because if that means that, maybe somebody who buys a 40-hour package is going to feel fantastic in 14 hours. And expedite the situation, I'm all for that.
Yeah, man, I'm totally down, and count me in. I mean, I'm gonna definitely I'm definitely coming, bro, for sure. I'm definitely gonna come, and I will be able to probably do some reporting back to my audience on my own personal testimonials on what it's like to come out there and use your technology, combined with whatever else I'm doing. So I'm pretty stoked about this. I think you have so much potential, Mel, and I'm a fan, man. I'm really a fan. Even like, when you came on to ask me to do the podcast with talking about crypto, we did that. But then I was like, the toy that I was interested in, the shiny new toy, is the center that you got. I mean, it was fun talking about crypto, but dude, the center you got is, pain management is a huge business. This is why over half of America's on pain pills.
I'll tell you right now, we have to defy the laws of physics. We have to be in a situation where we're not only going to heal the body, but I believe the technology is here right now that is going to allow the body to last hundreds of years. Right now, I'm talking about Dr. Sandra's technology is going to allow the body to heal itself in such a fashion, in such a way where you're going to start hearing. Obviously, we don't have a time capsule where we can travel into the future and find out, hey, is it true that we could live to be 200-300 years old with Dr. Sandra's technology? But I believe that answer is going to come soon enough. And I will tell you, there's nothing better than to be wealthy, but to be healthy first, so that you can absolutely enjoy all of the fruits of your labor. What good is it? You're worth, $500 quadrillion in XRP and dinars and all this stuff. And your health is, you got 1.5 foot in the grave. Big deal.
I think this is coming around. This is so beautiful because people that are on the crypto, your audience obviously are big crypto followers. My audience is big crypto followers. And you combine, a lot of people right now are holding on to a gold mine. They just don't see that gold mine yet because it's obviously, it's very, very volatile, et cetera, et cetera. But we can see the future, what's going on. And a lot of people are going to have financial security that they've never had before. But a lot of these people are not healthy. So that's the missing thing. And as we know, health is wealth. And so we got to get healthy to enjoy the wealth that people are going to have. And this is a two-part process. Yeah. So it's really,
I'll tell you what, I always say, I want to live to be 1,000 years old just to be spiteful. I just want a bunch of you guys to be spiteful with me.
That's really cool, man. I think living for hundreds of years old is really cool. But I think living 100 years old, being healthy is even cooler. So, like a lot of people can't see that because they're not healthy. If I go back 20 years, man, I was immortal, dude. I was in competitive bodybuilding. I was immortal. I felt immortal. Well, now I don't feel that way anymore because my body's like a used car and things break on used cars, man. You know, you got to fix them. So this technology you have, Mel, is so profound. It's amazing. I've been waiting for this stuff to come out. I've been talking about this with a really close friend of mine for years before it ever came out. The Medbeds, which was the possibility of the future, and the technology leading into the age of Aquarius. This is amazing stuff. And I'm just really so grateful that you're here on this planet sharing all this stuff with everybody. It's
Awesome.
really great to share this stuff with our audiences. So amazing to have you here, Mel. So thank you.
I can't wait to do part 2 with you. And if there's any other podcasters that come across this video or any podcaster that is friends of Logan that would like to interview me, I am ready. We're ready for prime time. The QR code system is coming by Tuesday, Wednesday next week. It's done. It's being tested as we speak. We know it's working. Okay. So we can go from, doing it Flintstones to going 100 miles an hour immediately. So we're ready for 100 miles an hour. If anybody wants to interview me, info@stayingalive, alive with 2 eyes.com. Send an email. My wife will make sure that we'll put you in the calendar and I will come on your show. Thank you.
Beautiful. His wife's name is Amber. She's amazing. So she's the one that kind of does, she's on the forefront of everything. Well, Mel, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I'll make sure I leave all the links of what you've described, your email, how to get a hold of you, your website, all that stuff, your address, the center, all that stuff for easy peasy access to this amazing center located in Cape Canaveral, Florida. And dude, I'm going to see you soon. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. But
I can't wait to meet you in person. We got a stage where we could do a live right from the stage, right in Cape Canaveral.
For sure. I'd be honored to do that. So I look forward to that. And we'll do a part 2, but thanks everybody for joining in this Cosmic Sugar episode with the great Mel over in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and stayingalive.com. Mel, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you later.